of staff. Now, wow, it's always right in kind of thing. Nigerians rose to Tinubu's chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, after U.S. panel terminate his law license for stealing money from client. Bagam. This one are the real breaking news. So his name has changed from chief of staff to thief of staff. Can you imagine? Within the week, a news came in that Femi Gbajabiamila's certificate as a lawyer in the U.S. has been cancelled and revoked and terminated. Okay, license to operate as a lawyer in the U.S. has been terminated for taking a client's money and running away out of U.S. back to Nigeria. And when he saw that he was growing in politics, he decided to go and pay after some time and after the case had been filed. So right now, his license in the U.S. has been revoked on the platform on the basis of cheat or stealing or cheating a client and running away with the client's money for a long time. Can you imagine? And this same person is the chief of staff of the president in Nigeria. So you now see that almost all the people in Tinubu's cabinet in Nigeria have one thing or the other hanging on their neck. And this is a very terrible one, which is a very, very bad one. This kind of thing is coming to limelight now, and more will still be exposed. So according to Gistlover, the former Nigerian House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, his license to practice law with the state bar of Georgia in the United States has been revoked because of its excessive levels of corruption and ethical misconduct. Bam, bam. Can you imagine? And this same person is a principal officer in Nigeria. The Nigerian politician who is currently the chief of staff to the president Bola Tinubu, who is a man of countless scandals, was expelled from the esteemed organization as of July 1st, 2020. He was discovered to have stolen money from a client and neglected to pay his membership dues. The U.S. scandal surrounding Mr. Gbajabiamila highlights once more the difference between civilizations that use just and accessible tools to promote accountability, and Nigeria, where openly fraudulent, despicable figures are in charge of the most important positions of authority. So Mr. Gbajabiamila refused to respond to questions from newsmen about his corruption and treatment in the U.S. for several weeks. In addition, despite promises made after several weeks, a state house spokesman did not submit any comment. So according to Georgia Bar representatives, Mr. Gbajabiamila's most recent ordeal started when a client lodged a complaint against him for theft, and according to Gazette, after that, Mr. Gbajabiamila ignored the bar and stopped adhering to his membership obligations, including paying his dues. And according to information provided to the Gazette, Mr. Gbajabiamila rebuffed all attempts to contact him at his Peachtree Road address in Atlanta. So according to Gistlover, Mr. Gbajabiamila received a 5-year suspension on July 2nd, 2015. On July 1st, 2020, the suspension was formally authorized as a termination of his membership at the time of his violations in the USA. Mr. Gbajabiamila, who joined the Georgia State Bar on June 29, 2021, was serving as Speaker of the House of Representatives. He is no longer permitted to practice law in the state of Georgia. A representative told the Gazette he is finished. So after Mr. Gbajabiamila admitted to stealing $25,000 from a client, the Georgia Supreme Court unanimously decided to suspend him for 36 months, and after serving out his suspension, he was reinstated, but after committing another infraction, he was finally fired. Oh boy. So the court noted that the time that Mr. Gbajabiamila, who had only joined the bar in 2001, admits that he accepted payment of $25,000 as settlement of a client's personal injury claims, deposited those funds in his attorney trust account in January 2003, failed to promptly disburse those funds to his client, withdrew these funds for his own use, closed his practice, and moved out of the country. Oh boy, $25,000. You did a case for a client to get a refund or a compensatory payment or settlement, and then you didn't refund the money to the client, you withdrew it for your own use, you closed your office in the Georgia, and then you left the country of states back to Nigeria. Oh boy. So in order to receive a lesser punishment, such as being disbarred, Mr. Gbajabiamila, who had been a federal lawmaker for almost 4 years prior to the verdict, paid the money back in 2006, a year before the verdict. So while Mr. Gbajabiamila has already paid the price for his well-documented transgressions in the U.S., his corruption in Nigeria has gone unpunished over a period of time that lasted from the early out to 2020. In 2021, Mr. Gbajabiamila was among top lawmakers and government ministers who received heavy bribes from private businessmen to undercut local communities in passing the controversial 2021 law regulating the Nigerian hydrocarbon industry. So recent accusations that he accepted bribes to sell important government positions have come from within his own party. He was accused of unchecked corruption that could seriously damage Mr. Tinubu's administration in a video made by the youth wing of the ruling All Progressive Congress. Some of his supporters have labeled those running the campaign as saboteurs, though he has yet to refute the accusations. So according to political commentator Ken Iluma Asogba, Mr. Gbajabiamila may not need to work as a lawyer again after spending the last 20 years as a federal lawmaker, House Speaker, and now President Tinubu's Chief of Staff. So looking at the characters he's serving with, he has many reasons to brush this off. Mr. Asogma, an Abuja-based legal practitioner, said his inglorious days in the United States might be catching up with him, but you can expect him to continue to thrive in Nigeria, where no one in power pays for wakeful infractions. He also has little to be ashamed of since his son, Mr. Tinubu's team, his is on Mr. Tinubu's team, Nyeso Wike, a notoriously violent politician already condemned by foreign observers, and Atiku Bagudu, a former Kebbi State governor who is infamous for laundering billions for departed Nigerian dictator Sani Abacha. Oh boy. So look at the category of people in Tinubu's government, the kind of people he's bringing into power. You know that Nigeria is far from being good. Nigeria is finished already. And these are the people that have been established now to continue as politicians and leaders in the Nigerian political space. It's a very pitiable situation Nigeria has fallen into with Tinubu coming to power. Because look at the kind of people he's validating and giving positions. Gbajabiamila has corruption case. Mwike has issue that is known. What's his name? Bagudu also has problem. A lot of them in this cabinet have one issue or the other. And they are ruling, they are empowered, they're making decisions for normal people. You can imagine a situation where the corrupt people are the one in power making decisions for the normal people. It is a very, very absurd situation, and I wonder how we can get out of that. So we've got some comments here. Someone say criminals in the highest order, and that is true. Is he still hoping that US will revive back his law license for not have resigned his appointment as chief or chief of staff? Now it's what every day for the thief, but just one day for the owner. Nigeria is in trouble. Nigeria is in very big trouble. Nigeria is in very big trouble with the kind of people coming to power in this Tinubu's regime. In fact, it looks like Buhari's government is going to be better, even as we cried through for the 8 years. Almost all of our elites are multifaceted fraudsters. They are but gangs of criminals. That is it. Tell me one person around Tinubu with good name and reputation, and I will show you 50 people around Tinubu with questionable characters. Quite a very terrible situation Nigeria is in. This is a very bad one for Nigeria as a country. And the United States or the Western world, they know this, and they keep mute because I don't know only God knows what they're getting from it. And they're also supporting this kind of people to be in power so that they continue to blackmail them and use them to rip Nigeria off. So thank you for listening, and let's have the comment. This is the state of Gbajabiamila, and right now he can't go back to the US again. Fraud in the United States, fraud in Nigeria, and this one sitting and working freely. God forbid.